Have you ever tried to write programs using C++? Oh, it's very good that you have the some initials knowledge about C++. So we'll try to make program using the equations, the system of equations which we have got in our lectures, in the previous lectures. We'll try to solve this equation using our own program written in C++. So let's begin. I will open the project. I have the English language interface of my Visual Studio. So I opened it and create a new project. Okay. I select C++ and console application, this one. Run code in a window terminal prints hello words by default. Okay. Next, please. For our lessons, I will use the special directory. I will produce the special folder C++. Okay. So the location is the working directory. And let's call it, for example, lesson. Simply, the project name will be lesson. Create. I've got the standard project, very simple program with many comments. Let's delete these comments, we don't use it now. The program is very simple. It produces the phrase hello world on the black console screen. You may build the solution. I have the button build solution, or simply F7 button. Okay. Very good. see that all programs the first operator is include. Now it's only one include option, which means I/O stream. I means in, O out, stream, you understand what it means. In order to print the phrase hello world, we need this library. If we comment this line, we'll get an error, and the program will not work. So we need this statement, include I/O stream. SSD, STD means some namespace. The operator cout is located in this namespace. In order not to write again and again this phrase, for example, cout I will call the name of our lesson, for example, methods of mathematical modeling. In order to relocate to another line, we need either the /n operator, or there is, I prefer another way to end the line. I'm using end L, end of the line. You see that this operator now is underlined by red line. It means that identifier cout is undefined. In order to define it, I need again to write this namespace std. It's not very convenient, so I recommend you to use global using namespace by this operator using namespace std and the end of the operator. Now I don't need to write std before any other operator. Comment hello world, and now we have methods of mathematical model, our subject. Start without debugging, or Control button F5, and we have this name, the methods of mathematical modeling. It's very simple program. Now let's make a more interesting program. What we should use at first? The mesh. I will use the mesh which was built using ICM CFD, ANSYS ISIM CFD, this mesh had the following form. This is the forward part of re-entry vehicle, and the flow which we will examine lies near this point, the forward part of re-entry vehicle. We have the table of the coordinates. This is 2D model. These are the x coordinates of the nodes, and the second column is the y vertical coordinates. On every set of vertical coordinates we have 50 x coordinates. So this table is the following. We have at first the first layer, one minute. Yes, very good. 50 coordinates here, 1, 2, 3, 4. The coordinate, the vertical, the y coordinates are the same. Then the second layer, 50 meanings of coordinates, the third, and so on. Now we need to read this file to input the values of the nodes in our program. How to do it? At first, let's use the name. Oh, sorry. I must send you the file of our mesh. This is mesh geo. How can I send you? I don't see the opportunity to send it in there. Only maybe by email I will send you. How to do it? Or maybe by Telegram or any other connection. I have WhatsApp also. Maybe I'll try to send it here. No, it is not. This program is not able to send files. Oh, very good. 1 minute. now the link. Very useful program. Thank you. Please upload it. And put this file into the into the folder where your project is located. For example, I'm using the following folder, the folder C+ lesson. The file should be located here, mesh geo. Okay? Very good. The name of the file is mesh geo. I will create the text file mesh geo, but for this purpose I must include one more header. It called st string, simply string. Yes. So please add this include option, include sharp, include string, and now I will create the name of the file, string file name, mesh geo. I repeat, string file name,
quotes,
and in the end semicolon. Okay. Now we need to create the stream, so-called stream, to read the values, the numbers which are in this file. The first line has three numbers. 50, it's the number of x coordinates. 60 is the number of y coordinates, and one number in z direction, but we don't use it because we have 2D mesh. So at first we must create the so-called input file stream. And again, to use it, we must add one more include option. Include the special directory, special library, sorry. Include and this library is called F stream, file stream. This library is for stream for console. This is for reading and writing files. Now we are able to use the option input if stream, and we will call it simply reading. And what we are reading? We are reading this file name. And again the end is semicolon. We are not sure if we open this file or not. So we must use the if operator. If there is this reading, if it's true, if we were able to read this file, we will read the contents of this file. But if we are not able, we will use else operator. Else braces, and we will write that we were not able to open this file. So we use cout, the stream into the console, the phrase we were not, oh no, sorry, simply the file the name of the file name, could not be opened. Yeah. And the end of the line, and L semicolon. Let's try our program. I think everything is okay. Press any key, but because I have this file in my working directory, if I rename this file, for example, mesh1 geo, and try my program again, I've got this message: the file mesh geo could not be opened. You see that we analyzed all problems. So I will again call it mesh geo. Very good. Oh. Twice geo was named. And now I will write for this purpose the file is opened. In case of successful reading, we will write on our console this phrase, this sentence. Let's try. The file meshGeo is opened. Very good. If it is opened, let's read the contents of this file. At first, we must read the number of x coordinates and y coordinates, and the third is z coordinates. Let's call these numbers 1, 2, 3. The integer kind of values int nx, ny, and we have to use that. We will not use it anywhere, but we have to read this number because it is located here. Of course, we can delete this number, but simply it's more simple to read this number and not to use it later. So I declared 3 integer values, nx, ny, and z, and I will read them from my file, from the file. The operator reading is used. Reading, oh sorry. Reading. I'm reading and put it in this number. Reading, so I have to this. Greater. Nx at first, then ny, and then nz, and again the end of the operator. Every step I will try to do it. No problems. I will control the numbers, so I will write cout, simply copy it, cout nx equals nx ny equals ny. Let's control the reading of these numbers. You see, nx equals 50 and y equals 60. I am satisfied. Now we need to construct an array for these coordinates. X coordinate, Y coordinate, and so on. I will not use the coordinates Z.
So,
Yes.
like I have the file mesh couldn't be opened message. So
No
can I solve?
file? No file?
Yeah, like couldn't be opened.
Did you have you put it into the
Yes,
project
and the file and the main file that I made.
mesh geo in the
Yes.
can you I don't understand why. In this case you must have no problem. Exactly the name is mesh point geo.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, I don't understand why. Can you show me your maybe the screen?
Okay, sure. Can you give me the permission?
Oh, sorry, how to do it? I don't know how to do. Oh, yes. I don't know how to do the permission for you.
Like, I guess you have to click on my name and you're gonna find giving me permission or something like that.
1 minute.
How many vowels in 20 care?
Oh, yes.
No, it's D lot DH. Yes, that's one I guess.
Moderator.
Not as D lot or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Oh yes, exactly.
I never did it, so for the first time didn't know how to do
That's
it.
okay. So that's the problem, and here is the lesson file. Okay.
You should put it into the lesson folder. Lesson. Open this, please.
Oh, this one.
Lesson. Here you must put it. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Try to do it. Try to open.
Yeah, it
Oh
works.
yes. Okay. Very good. Nice.
Good. Yeah.
Very good. Okay.
Okay.
How to return to my okay.
I guess you have to remove the permission from me and then start sharing your own screen.
1 minute. Yes. Wow. No. Okay. Okay. I hope you see that. Now let's continue. So we read, better to say, these values, and now we must create the arrays for the coordinates. The most simple way is to use the stationary arrays. For example, I'm using double precision, double x nodes, the array is two-dimensional because it has the y and x and y coordinates, two coordinates. So I have to create two-dimension array. I have 50 coordinates in x direction and 60 in y direction. But it's not a very good idea because I can use it. For example, I will try to show it how to do it. For example, I create the local values double x, y, z. Again, I have to read the third value. This zero value, it always is zero, but I have to read it because it's located in every line. So I create these values and read it. Again, reading. But I have to use the cycle, of course. The inner cycle is in y direction, in x direction, and the outer cycle is in y direction. For this purpose, I'm using for operator, for at first outer cycle. It is written in the following way: int, I will use j equals 0, semicolon, j less than ny 60, ny, again semicolon, and j plus plus. And braces. It's the outer cycle, and inside of this cycle I will create the inner cycle for int I also equals 0, semicolon, y I less than nx, semicolon, I plus plus. I hope that you know that in C language this operator is the same as I equals I plus 1. So I will write it in comments. I plus plus is the same as I equals I plus 1. But it's shorter, of course. And it is called increment, I think. Again, braces. And inside these two cycles, I will read all my X and Y and Z coordinates. So reading. At first X, Y, Z, and no handle operator, simply semicolon. By using this operator, I read line by line all my coordinates. And now I will assign this value to the array which I created before this cycle. X nodes I, of course, then J is assigned X, which I have already read. And I will check my reading. After reading everything, I will see out, for example, the last coordinate. The numbers of the arrays, the indexes are going from 0 till one number less than, for example, nx. Nx is 50, so the last value of index is 49, and for y the last value of y of j is 60 minus 1, so 59. And I will try to show these values 49 and 59. 59, of course. Let me look into the file. The last value is the following. Let's examine this. Yes, it's okay. So I created the array for x coordinate. But to tell the truth, I don't like this method. of using stationary arrays, because we may have different meshes with different nx and ny. In this case, it is better to create so-called dynamic arrays. So, as the other way of doing it, we might use the following operators. For this case, I have to use the so-called pointer, and not even simply pointer, but twice pointer. I will show you how to do it. Double. If we have two-dimension dynamic array, we must use these symbols. If one dimension, then only one. But we are using double arrays, so we have to use two asterisks. And let's call it xn. And the creation of this array is quite different. We must use the following values. Double, two asterisks, xn equals new double, one asterisk, branches, no, not branches, but I don't remember how it is called in English. 1 minute. Square brackets, sorry. 0. Please remember how to do it without many time. I am using the so-called pointer, and in case of two-dimension array, I must use pointer to pointer. So twice asterisk means pointer to pointer. And after I created only one address of this, the beginning of this array, and now I should, after reading the values of nx and ny, I will initialize this array, this dynamic array. The way is the following. At first initialize the first dimension. You see the difference. Here I used 0, and then I added it to nx values. But now it's also pointers. And next I connect to any pointer the second part of my array. This is, for this I will use for cycle. Or simply I. Oh no, let's change it to, for example, m. M equals 0, semicolon, m less than nx, semicolon, m plus plus. And the second part of this array xnm. I will create the second part again new. Now simply double, not any pointers, and y, semicolon, and of course branches. In this way I created the dynamic array which have the numbers in x direction and x, and the numbers in y direction and y. Two-dimension dynamic array. And instead of this operator, I will assign the value of x to the new dynamic array. The same form of assigning I can comment the previous variant and again try to control my values. Instead cout xn, the last value, or for example let's change it to, for example, 48 number. It means this. Okay, let's start without debugging. Oh yes, very good. But we have two coordinates, x and y coordinates, and the simplest way to create two dynamic arrays for x coordinate and for y coordinate. But I prefer not to use, it's not, I think, very perfect idea. We will use some elements of object-oriented programming. It's more easier to build programs using these cases. So I will create a so-called structure of coordinates, or simply the structure which will be the point or the coordinates of the node, or next it will be maybe the coordinates of the center of the cell, the center of the face of any control or volume, everything you want. So let's create the additional file, the header file at first. And here in this file we will put all our needed values. One minute, sorry. I will open additional project. I prepared some materials before the lesson, of course. So let us make additional file. For this purpose, click header file by right button, mouse right button, add new item. You see different types of the items, but at first we will create so-called header file with extension .h, and I will call this file mesh h. Add. And here I will prepare some. At first let's build some more file, not header file, but the source file with the same name, mesh cpp. So now click source file, source files, by right mouse button, add new item, select C++ file, the extension is .cpp, and the same name, mesh. So we have created two files with the same name but different extension. The extension in source files we create mesh cpp, and in header files we created mesh h. At first we will work with header file mesh. Okay, as I have already told you, we will create the so-called structure. The name of the structure will be a short part of the point. Struct. Oh no. Struct, and I will name it P and T. Branches. Again, close branch and semicolon. It will be very simple structure. It contains only two values, double, x and y. two coordinates, semicolon. Very good. And instead of using the coordinates xn, I will create the object of this structure. I have some warning that X nodes are reference local variables. Of course, we don't use it. That is why we have this warning. So comment this value. Okay. Now no warnings. Okay. I will create this structure in the main program. The same way as simple double, but instead of double I will use the name of the structure P and T. But at first I must use some additional action. If we write this name P and T, it will be an arrow. This part of the program doesn't see this structure because it is located in the other file. I can improve this situation simply describing this structure in the main file. Simply copy it here and no problem now. The point. I will also create two-dimension array with this structure. I will call it X, capital letter X. And again, the same as here, but not double, of course. New P and T. So instead of value the array which consists of double values, I created the array, two-dimension array, which consists of objects which are called P and T. But to tell the truth, I don't like using description in the main program. The main program should be very short, no additional parts. So I will delete it here. I only showed you as example. Now we have an arrow, of course, in this case. P and T undeclared identifier. To improve this situation is very easy. I must include this file, this header file, in my main file. It is include in this case I must use this way, and I use the name of the header file mesh h, include mesh h. Now you see that we have no errors. Let's try the program. no problems, okay. But now I will make the same operation. I will do the same operation with this object as I did it before with xn. I will copy it. No description, of course. X, capital X, new pointer, PNT, pointer, not 0 but an X. And here is the same. Capital X, new, of course, not double, but P and T, and Y. So I created the structure, two-dimensional array of the structure P and T. And now instead of assigning X value to xn array, I will assign the value of X and Y to this array X I J point X equals X, and again X point Y is assigned to Y. Very good. But now let's check it. Let's use here X both values I will see out, comma, Y. Let's try this operation. It was this line. Very good. I have prepared the array, two-dimension array for my points, nodes as points. And the last thing which we can do now is use instead of double X, Y, Z, also the structure P and T, and read these values. I will put it inside the cycles P and T. For example, X1. Nothing else. And instead of reading into the X, Y, Z, I will read x1 x, then x1 y, and I don't use the third coordinate in points, so I have to read simply z. And now I can comment this double z, and instead of assigning in this way, I will use the following: x in points ig equals to x1. The structure x is the structure x1 is assigned to the array x in the point ij. Let's control this, check this situation. Oh, it's okay. So I think it's more convenient to use structure. It's much shorter than using the different double values. So I think it's enough for the first lesson. On the next lesson we will discuss the creating of the class. I will begin it here, but we'll make the main operation on the next lessons. I will create class which is called mesh. Again, the branches, and here I will create different properties and functions of this class, very many properties and functions which will be useful for our next operations, for working with mesh, for using it in creating the solution of equations, and so on. All properties of the class can be divided into private and public properties. For example, private properties may be the number of the cells of our mesh. These are nodes, and the cell, the control volume, is inside of each 4 nodes. So we have the number of the nodes of the cells in y direction and in the x direction and in y direction, and it will be the private properties of our class. Integer, I will call it n, capital N, and x, and capital N Y. No, I think it's enough for the first lesson.